For generations, our nation's power has flowed from the might of our rivers and the fuel we import. But our future demands more. A future of unlimited potential needs a foundation of unlimited power. This is not just about energy, it's about opportunity, it's about science, it's about equipping a new generation with the knowledge to lead. The NextGen Nuclear Initiative is a forward-leaning effort that positions the next generation of leaders, particularly students and young professionals, as key contributors to a secure, innovation-driven nuclear energy future.
It is always a pleasure to see what opportunities exist for the youth, and in partnership with the Ghana Atomic Energy Commission, specifically the Nuclear Power Institute, we've looked at how the Regional Energy Training Center could support an initiative launched by the Nuclear Power Institute that would enable youth to become nuclear advocates. And so with the Nuclear Power Institute, under the auspices of the Regional Energy Training Center, a program was developed, the first of its kind, to support nuclear advocates on the continent. And Ghana has been a key supporter of its neighbors, and so it was great for us to be able to bring together representatives from Kenya, from Nigeria, and Ghana, supported by experienced nuclear advocate from South Africa, to be able to come together and to talk about not only what the messaging should be, what nuclear is and is not, but how that message is communicated outwardly to the youth and to others who can absorb conversation about nuclear in a very simple and logical way.
This initiative seeks to reintroduce nuclear energy as a strategic, solutions-oriented field, one that offers economic opportunity, national security, and energy independence.
I have been talking about nuclear, the possibilities of nuclear, for a really long time. And I started talking about this when I chanced on what GAIEC does. I was really surprised because in my little mind, I thought like the sciencey stuff don't belong here. How are we going to manage that? But after talking about it, I paid a visit to the commission and I was in awe of the things that they were doing. Like I went to see the research reactor, and there were a lot of young people, by the way, in that place. My orientation was done by a very young guy. I think we met him when we came the second time. He did an amazing job. So from seeing that, I knew that there was definitely a place for young people in this particular space, and I was sold immediately.
They are people who actually care about the country and the continent, and really wanted to take the opportunity to understand nuclear and see how they could play an ongoing and consistent role as nuclear is deployed further on the continent.
When I got the opportunity to join the NextGen Nuclear Initiative, I was ecstatic. Everyone in my house saw how excited I was and how people were saying, oh, it was divine timing, but it was a really good experience. Spending some nights at Spediase and then really going deep into what nuclear is. Like starting from the bottom, I mean atom, literally. So we started from there and then we built up to what we talk about now. And it has been an amazing experience.
The commitment of these young people to understand the subject matter, the complexity of the conversation that they were then able to simplify in digestible bits and bytes so that people could understand whether or not they had a nuclear engineering degree or whether or not they knew anything about nuclear, and also to place it in a context of everyday life. I think all of those things those young people demonstrated beautifully that they were able to do. They did their homework, they asked great questions, and at the end they produced some content around nuclear, which they were able to peer review, improve upon, and most of them have already published content on social media. And that's the type of commitment and diligence and initiative we want to see with the next gen.
Let me tell you, the energy in the rooms when we entered. I mean, you could see how curious everyone was seeing us on campus with our shirts, nuclear. I'm sure they thought so many things. But after the conversations happened, we had quizzes with them. You could see the enthusiasm amongst the students. It was electrifying. At some point, I had goosebumps and I was telling Dr. Archie, like, it was good. The teachers were involved. And I'm sure some of them also read about the topic, so they were well informed.
It was an interesting experience. I liked it. I can say very humbly that I was very warmly received at each of these schools, and it was a very, very exciting thing, honestly. Especially when you speak to these people, you could tell just from their faces, you could see the light shine in their eyes that they were actually really genuinely interested in what nuclear was, in what the technology has to say for the future of Ghana, and we could tell that they really wanted to be a part of it.
The program not only empowered 10 African advocates with the knowledge and skills to champion nuclear science and technology, but also sensitized more than 8,000 students across 8 high schools in Ghana's central and western regions.
They were fired up. They were excited. They were participative. They were engaged. And they learned a lot, and we tested that knowledge with some quizzes and some prizes, and they showed up and they showed out. And I want to tell you that, these young people that we came in contact with by, splitting up 2 teams and doubling our ability to get out to the schools, these young people absolutely were reflective of the future of Ghana. And as I told them, I see some young ministers in the room, some CEOs in the room, some future presidents in the room. And I happen to visit, all girls schools, but I know that likewise that level of talent was in the boys' schools as well. And they were just, simply royalty. And I was so glad that I had the opportunity to be a part of that experience, because while they got a lot out of it, I think the teams that went out to the schools also gained so much for it, so much for appreciation for us continuing this work in partnership with the young people and making sure that they are brought in early and often into the conversation about nuclear.
I believe it was 1,000% success. 100%. I loved it.
The future of NextGen, based on the first cohort, is bright. So bright, I think all of us should wear sunglasses at our next meeting. These are some outstanding, unique individuals who are both humble and curious in their quest to actually learn the material, not just rely on flash or foolery to get a click or a like, but really to deliver substance to their audiences and grow their understanding of the way that they present information so that it is easily digestible and that people want to do more learning. I was very, very impressed with them. They are a group of people that I've already decided and talked with the team about them coming back for our next big event, the U.S. Africa Nuclear Energy Summit. We want to highlight their work. We want them to track the metrics on their work. And we want, all of the young people that we engaged with to have opportunities for continued engagement as well. So we made sure we built that in, that those young people in the high schools would have the ability to leave information, leave feedback on our visit so that we can learn and refine, and also get back in touch with them so that we can continue to support them, because they will become the next generation of nuclear.
Nuclear for the future, I think, is an exciting thing. I went down the rabbit hole of finding out what it is. We all know about so many negative things. In fact, just one negative thing, really, if you think about it, the fact that it's associated is weapons and all of that. But I also want to let you know that for every problem we have, there is a nuclear solution, almost every problem. And I've gone down and I've been researching, like in medicine, in tech, in imports, exports, like, agriculture. Yes, it is all over the place. So even aside from nuclear power, let's say we're taking away that one, even if you don't want to hear about it, there are so many other positives that we need to explore. So for me, that is why I strongly advocate for it, because I think it's going to solve our problems, a lot of them.
Nuclear is the future. I don't know. I see it, say, in the next maybe 40, 50 years, maybe technology would have advanced so much so that we'll be able to have, instead of like a diesel generators in our house and being reliant on power supply from all hydro, the combined thermals, etc., that we would all have like mini nuclear reactors in our homes that would power our homes, right? Because I feel like nuclear really is the way to go.
My message to the parents and the guardians is nuclear is a noble field. Nuclear will and is happening on the continent of Africa. Nuclear is the solution to solve Ghana and the continent of Africa's biggest challenge, which is electricity access and electricity availability. And so therefore, I suggest and recommend that parents really learn more about nuclear so that they can support their children in participating in the workforce, because there will be plenty of jobs there, and that they recognize that nuclear is just not nuclear engineering. You can be a lawyer, you can be a communicator, you can be in charge of human resources, you can be a welder. All of these are noble professions. I know every parent wants their child to be a doctor or a lawyer. We need more lawyers, definitely in nuclear, and of course doctors all engage in nuclear medicine. But I really think the parents need to understand that the field of nuclear science, nuclear energy will be the thing that transforms Africa to the next level.
By combining grassroots education with leadership development, the initiative created a ripple effect of awareness, inspiring young learners to explore scientific opportunities while strengthening the voices of advocates who will shape Africa's future energy and innovation agenda. NextGen Nuclear Initiative, powering the future.